What's going on, guys? Welcome back to review and discussion for UnOrdinary episode 311. 311. I'll remember the yeah 311. I knew that. Totally knew that. Anyway, this episode is overall pretty good. It's more build up as to what's to come next, and honestly, I do like what follows this episode. I think it was set up really well, and I also really like the aftermath and the follow-up to this episode, which of course we will talk about that when we talk about episode 312. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about this. So episode starts out once again with the authorities kind of just being like, hey, Spectre, they're terrorists, we're looking into this. If you got that information, let us know. And everyone is discussing Orin's recklessness now that the authorities are looking to Spectre officially and publicly. Sarah then mentions and brings up the possibility of reporting him to the authorities to get him out of the picture, but also that they'll need to warn. Layla also brings up that they'll need to warn Neil and Miranda so they can cut him out in time. Now, that's a pretty good strategy, and even Kaden agrees. Like that could buy us some more time and everything. But as I mentioned before, I do think Orin probably could finesse his way out of the situation in some capacity. But Sarah then mentions Arlo as their bureau connection and that they need the location for Orin's facility so that they can take him down. Layla doesn't have access to that, and she confirms that Zetasai wouldn't lead them very far since it's just a shell company of Spectre. They ask Kaden if he knows what the address is since he has to teleport there, but Orin used his ability on him way back when they first met, so that he could not give away the address. And Layla confirms that Orin has the ability to command people. Now, I speculated and said that I believe that is what Orin's ability is way back when we first saw that ability get used. This isn't exact and total confirmation as what his ability is called per se, but it is a confirmation of what his ability can do. But I'm still sticking with the fact that Orin's ability is called command. So, there's that. So, yeah. And I also think it's kind of weird that I kind of keep calling everything with Orin. Like, I originally suggested Orin as a name, and now I've gotten his ability fairly accurately named. So, we'll have to wait and see. Wait and see if my other Orin predictions come true. But Kaden also brings up and thinks to himself, what else has he been commanded to do? So I am thinking, will Kaden become an obstacle, or will Kaden unwillingly give away everyone's secret to Orin? Now, they get out a map to see if Kaden can kind of finesse his way around the commands and point out the location, but he's even unable to do that. But John remembers that he had to teleport from that lab in order to get back to Doc's. So as he's looking at the map, he kind of just goes like, wait, I think it's around here. And he remembers, and he kind of have it's just kind of a rough idea basically. And honestly, I really like that. I really like that John is able to figure that out. It's kind of a cool nod that Sarah is stronger than John, but John is also in some way stronger than Sarah. Let's be honest. Sarah could never figure this out, but for John, it's just a rough idea. Possibly if he had his ability at full power at the time he copied teleport, he probably could have gotten a more certain location and everything, but who knows? So, and Kaden even points out that for him to do something like that would take a long time, and John just kind of got it like that, basically. Again, it's just a rough idea, but he does still get it fairly quickly. So, meanwhile, Arlo is back at the bureau, now with the intel, thanks to John passing it on to him, basically saying, hey, here's what we were able to figure out. Use this, report this, and try and get as much for yourself as you can. But Arlo is still contemplating how he can use it without drawing too much suspicion to himself. And we actually do see he seemingly hasn't been answering Valerie's text as she's messaging him, hey, how's everything going? I haven't heard from you in a while. So he's kind of avoiding her and everything. So I'm very curious about that. it seems like Valerie is definitely going to get onto Arlo's case at some point. But he wonders if he should ask for help. If he could ask her for help. But more so, he's asking if he should. Ultimately, he decides to go to Cassandra for help with everything. And while Cassandra even asks, like, hey, like, why did you come to me? And even Arlo himself is asking, why did I come to you? So, yeah. It is cool to see Arlo kind of like thinking for himself, and Arlo just being kind of like, Arlo's thinking, at the end of the day, Arlo's just thinking for himself. Arlo is just thinking like, I don't know if I can, trust my aunt. So he goes to Cassandra, and Cassandra tries to ask him how he got the intel, to which Arlo just says he wants to keep their identity secret for the time being. Cassandra deduces that whoever it is unwillingly involved with Spectre, and that the location may be able to help them out, and offers to take him on a proper job to scout out the location, which they do, assumedly around Wellston. Arlo informs Cass of the rough area of the location, and Cassandra uses her ability to scout out further. Now, like I said in my original, based on the reaction to episode 312, I think that Cassandra's ability is conjure particles, and she's allowed to kind of like scout out and like, she's basically like aware of things that are around her particles. Maybe she uses them as cameras too, but we'll have to wait and see. Overall, it's a pretty good episode. Nothing too crazy happens, but there's obviously a lot of talking, but it's pretty good setup, and I like that. I honestly like that we're getting an Arlo episode out of it. So, yeah, I would honestly give this episode a 7.8. So, yeah. With that being said, guys, as always, thank you all so much for watching, and see you, Space Cowboy.